Have you ever scrolled through the internet and feel like everyone's an expert? Like every drawing you see is polished, perfect, gallery worthy, while your sketchbook looks more like a crime scene of armature figures and lopsided buildings. Yeah, me too. But here's the thing I'm learning, and it's going to change how you think about sharing your art forever. I don't use the internet to pretend, I use it to document. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why this mindset shift could be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Hey, it's Mike. Welcome back to Learning Artfully, where I'm not here to show off how good I am, because I'm not at all, but to show you how beautifully messy learning actually looks. If you're just starting out or restarting for the 10th, 20th, maybe even 50th time, like me, you're not just in the right place, you're exactly where you need to be. And if you've ever felt like giving up because your art doesn't look like what you see online, stick around because today we're going to flip that script entirely. If this already hits home, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I'm building this channel as a place where we document progress, not perfection. And I want you to be part of this journey. Here's the problem with pretending. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. Social media is like a giant art museum, except most of what you see is the finished piece hanging on the wall, perfectly lit, perfectly framed. You don't see the pile of crumpled paper in the trash can. You don't see the hours of shaky lines and wobbly ellipses that got cut off from the highlight reel. You don't see the artist's third cup of coffee at 2 a.m., erasing the same line for the 15th time. And if you're like me, that can be more discouraging. It can be crushing because you start to think, if my drawing doesn't look like that, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I don't have the gift. Maybe I'm just fooling myself. But here's what I realize, that's a trap. That's what happens when we use the internet to pretend instead of to document. When we pretend, we try to skip steps. We're trying to show the world we're further along than we actually are. And that creates this impossible pressure where every mark we make has to be Instagram worthy. But what if I told you there's another way? What if instead of pretending to be somewhere you're not, you celebrated exactly where you are right now? What if instead of pretending to be further along than we are, we just document where we're actually at? For me, that means uploading videos of my practice sessions, even when the lines wobble like I'm drawing during an earthquake. Even when my figures look like inflatable tube men outside a car dealership having an identity crisis. And you know what? It's been liberating because documenting does three powerful things. First, it creates proof that you showed up, even if the drawing isn't good by traditional standards. It's real, it's honest, it's evidence that you chose to pick up that pencil instead of scrolling through TikTok for an hour. Second, it builds a trail of evidence. I can look back 6 months and see where I started and trust that showing up consistently actually works. The progress might be slow, but it's undeniable. And third, this is the big one, it gives permission to others. When someone sees you documenting your real progress, your real struggles, your real growth, they think, if Mike can share his wobbly lines, maybe I can too. You become proof that it's okay to be a beginner. And in a world full of highlight reels, that's revolutionary. Let me show you exactly what I mean with something I've been practicing lately. Figure armatures. These are basically stick figures with a little more structure, and they're perfect for beginners because they focus on movement and proportion, not perfection. Here's how I approach them. Step 1. I start with an oval for the head, not a perfect circle, just an oval. Sometimes it's lopsided. That's fine. Step 2. A simple line for the neck. Sometimes it's too long, sometimes too short. Hey, I'm learning. Step 3. A wavy or curved line for the spine or center line that shows the body's posture. Is the person leaning, standing straight, dancing? Step 4. A horizontal line for the shoulders and another for the hips. These don't have to be perfectly perpendicular. Close enough is good enough. And step 5. Simple straight lines for arms and legs. They connect the dots, showing where the limbs go. That's it. No muscles, no shading, no fancy anatomy textbook perfection, just the skeleton in movement. When I document myself drawing these, I'm not claiming to be the next Da Vinci. I'm saying this is what it looks like to learn how bodies move in space. And here's the beautiful part. Even these simple armatures can show life, energy, movement. An armature can dance. An armature can tell a story. Here's why this mind shift changes everything. See, when I post a video of me practicing armatures, making mistakes, starting over, I'm not claiming to be a master artist. I'm saying this is what courage looks like in real time. And that's incredibly powerful, not just for you, but for everyone watching. Because maybe you're sitting there right now thinking about starting, but you're paralyzed by the fear that your drawings won't be good enough. Well, guess what? Neither are mine, but I'm documenting anyway. And here's what happens when you make this shift. You stop needing your art to impress strangers on the internet. You stop measuring your worth as an artist by likes and comments. Instead, your art becomes a record of you showing up. It becomes evident. It becomes evidence of your commitment to growth. It becomes a love letter to the process itself. By documenting instead of pretending, you build real confidence, not the fragile kind that depends on external validation, but the sturdy kind that comes from knowing you're on your own authentic path. You start celebrating little victories. Look, my circles are getting rounder. Hey, that line is actually straight. This armature looks like it's walking instead of falling over. Here's some ancient wisdom for modern artists. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote something that perfectly captures this mindset. Don't pretend to be what you're not. Be content to appear as you are. Think about that for a second. In a world obsessed with filters and perfect presentations, what if your superpower was simply being authentic? And Eastern philosophy takes this even further, reminding us that the path itself is the practice. The destination isn't really the point. And lastly, I'll land my plane here. In Zen Buddhism, there's a concept called beginner's mind, approaching everything with openness, eagerness, and freedom from preconceptions. Even masters maintain beginner's mind because it keeps them curious, keeps them growing. When you combine these philosophies, documenting your progress instead of pretending to be further along makes perfect sense. It's not weakness to show where you're at. It's actually wisdom. It's strength. It's the fastest path to real growth. So here's my challenge for you. And I'm going to be right there with you. Instead of waiting until you're good enough to share your drawings, start documenting today. Grab a pencil right now. Yes, right now. Draw 3 figure armatures. They can be terrible. In fact, I hope they are, because that means you're being honest. Take a picture, post it somewhere, Instagram, Facebook, or just keep it in a private folder for yourself. But make it real. Write a caption that says, Day 1 of documenting my art journey. Because here's my promise to you. I'll keep posting my messy attempts, my wobbly lines, my armatures that look like they've been through a windstorm. Not to pretend I'm something I'm not, but to document the beautiful, messy, and perfect process of becoming. Okay, enough of me jabbering. If this message resonates with you, if you're tired of waiting for permission to be a beginner, then subscribe and follow along. Hit that notification bell because I want to see every video. I want you to see every video where I messed up, start over, and keep going again. Let's build a community where progress matters more than perfection, where showing up matters more than showing off. Because the internet doesn't need another fake masterpiece. It needs more evidence that growth is possible for real people like you and me. And maybe, just maybe, if we keep showing up together, one line, one armature, one documented attempt at a time, we'll discover that the process itself was the masterpiece all along. I'm Mike, the absolute beginner artist. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being brave. And thanks for choosing to document instead of pretend. Now go grab that pencil and document your next line. The world is waiting to see your real story.